After the fall of Florence, most of the people who were involved in the Florence Renaissance, the beginning of modern Europe, most of the intellectuals, the artists, the architects, even the Medici family ran away. And they left Florence to go to a city that had become even greater than Florence had ever dreamed of being. They left for the imperial city. They left for Rome. Today we'll look at the Roman Renaissance. The Roman Renaissance starts a little later than the Florence Renaissance. Florence got going, late 1300s, early 1400s. Rome doesn't really get started until about 1450, until about the start of this course. And the leaders of the Roman Renaissance were the popes that lived there. Now, we don't care about all the popes, but if you take the whole group of them in general, what you're going to find is that beginning about 1454, the popes decided that it was time for them to reassert their power. They had been, for too long, they had been kind of relegated, they had been mistreated. And that's because they had been corrupt. They had been bad. And the people had left, a lot of people just stopped believing that they were worth paying attention to. Beginning about 1450, they try to reclaim their former greatness. And one of the ways they do that is by rebuilding Rome. So they fix the roads, they fix the churches, they fix the great buildings, their own houses they make really nice. They begin to reclaim some of the earlier greatness of the Empire of Rome under people like Caesar Augustus. And when they do this, the rest of Rome decides that they should rebuild too, and pretty soon Rome is looking good again. Now, the ideas, you remember we looked at ideas in Florence, well there's some ideas in Rome too, and the ideas that we're going to look at in Rome are similar but not exactly the same. We have humanism again, but humanism in Rome is bigger. It's almost like, like Hercules, who's like a god, but also like a man. That's what the Romans are going for. The Romans think that they are really, really cool. Remember that picture of Michelangelo and God, that Michelangelo painted of God reaching out to Adam, and they're so close, and Adam's like huge, and he's a stud. That's what all of Rome thought about themselves. They were pretty sure they were that close to God. So they had almost pushed humanism to humans becoming gods. I call them heroes. It's heroic humanism. Think of it that way. They also are really into materialism. Often humanism and the belief in the here and the now, the secular, will lead to people competing to see who can get the most stuff. The popes certainly do that. You can think of probably the greatest of the popes of this time period, Julius II, who starts the rebuilding of St. Peter's, who hires Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel, who hires Raphael to paint his apartments. He is wanting to impress people with his wealth. It's about money for a lot of these popes. And that was disappointing for a lot of Catholics who thought that the Pope was about being their spiritual father and about leading them spiritually. And instead, these popes spend a lot of time becoming secular and humanist and growing in wealth and growing in power. So that's going to lead to trouble. We're about to have a reformation in religion. It starts about 1517 when Martin Luther posts the 95 Thesis Statements, and a lot of it comes out of this time period.